But with that out of the way, welcome to the Bidders Conference for supporting Pennsylvania's advanced manufacturing sector through apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships grant initiative. The purpose of this meeting is to provide you with information as detailed in the Notice of Grant Availability released July 11th, and of course to allow for some questions from you. My name is Will Horan, and I currently work as an executive assistant to Deputy Secretary Dan Kuba, and I will be managing this grant, serving as your point of contact for questions and technical assistance. And everything that's covered today in the NGA is in the NGA outside of the questions and answers session, which will be transcribed in the near future and posted to the Labor and Industry Grants page. A recording of this bidders conference will also be shortly posted to the L&I Grants page. So I will start off here with an overview. On July 11th, 2025, the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry released the Supporting PA's Advanced Manufacturing Sector through Apprenticeship and Pre-Apprenticeship Notice of Grant Availability. And the purpose of this NGA is to provide two opportunities for funding in support of advanced manufacturing workers through the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship model. Opportunity 1 supports the development of new registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships, and Opportunity 2 supports the expansion of existing registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships. Approximately $4 million in funding is available for supporting Pennsylvania's advanced manufacturing sector through apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. Opportunity 1 has approximately $2 million available, and this will award up to $400,000 per grantee to support the creation of new registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships. Opportunity 2 also has approximately $2 million available and will award up to $200,000 per grantee to increase diversity, equity, and inclusion in existing registered apprenticeships or pre-apprenticeships. Registered apprenticeships have 5 key components that differentiate this approach from other types of workplace training programs. The components include a paid job, on-the-job training, related technical instruction, mentorship, and credentials. This combination of components is what makes registered apprenticeship a viable option for giving career development opportunities to individuals who may have not been able to engage in it prior through more traditional methods. Registered pre-apprenticeship programs also have 5 key components that lay the foundation for future apprentices by preparing qualified candidates with academic knowledge and skills training tailored to specific jobs and industries. Each pre-apprenticeship program establishes a connection to at least one existing registered apprenticeship program, offers approved training and curriculum, delivers hands-on learning through a variety of unique program designs and approaches, offers the opportunity to earn an industry-recognized credential, and access to support services and career counseling. It's also worth noting that this NGA has specific information for new and expanding programs, and it is also recommended to sign up for a registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship orientation, and they are held monthly. There will be more information on the orientations in the following slides, and just after I finish presenting, I will also share the links in the chat. Moving on to the Apprenticeship Field Staff Division, it's important to note the Apprenticeship and Training Office Field Staff Division will assist awardees to understand the process to register a new apprenticeship program. They will also be valuable in understanding the guidelines and regulations if you intend to expand an existing registered apprenticeship program. Led by Supervisor Christy DeWitt and consisting of area apprenticeship and training representatives, or ATRs, in addition to special projects ATRs, this division will be a vital partnership for grantees of this award. If your organization is awarded a grant, there will be a deadline to engage with the ATR to begin planning. This should be noted on your application timeline. More details on the application and how the ATRs fit into the registration process will be detailed later in the presentation. Additional details will also be provided once grants are awarded. Now we move on to the pre-apprenticeship division, which is led by Supervisor Danielle Demirovic and consists of two pre-apprenticeship and training representatives, again, ATRs. And as stated with the ATR Field Division review, the pre-apprenticeship division will be a key partner for awardees of this grant. If you intend to use grant funds to develop a new registered pre-apprenticeship or expand an existing pre-apprenticeship, you will need to meet with a pre-apprenticeship ATR to plan the program. Again, as with the previous slide, it should be noted that if your organization is awarded a grant, there will be a deadline to engage with the pre-apprenticeship division to begin planning. This should also be noted in your application timeline. Apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs funded by this grant must be registered with the Commonwealth. Awardees will have 1 year from contract start date to finalize their registration or show progress towards the finalization of the registration. If a grantee intends to expand a registered apprenticeship and/or pre-apprenticeship program, the grantee is required to ensure that registered program sponsors remain compliant with all U.S. and PA laws, policies, regulations, and standards. And as I mentioned, it's recommended to sign up for a registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship orientation, and I will provide those links shortly. Next, moving on to registered apprenticeship information, guides and resources for employers, training providers, and sponsors are available at the ATO's website, which again, I will link after this. You could also learn more about Pennsylvania regulations, standard practices, and starting a registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship. Now we move on to the challenge section here, which is again directly from the NGA. Manufacturing is a vital part of Pennsylvania's workforce environment with an economic impact of more than $116 billion. The manufacturing sector accounts for over 10% of all jobs in Pennsylvania, employing more than 564,000 residents. Advanced manufacturing combines innovative technologies and processes to significantly improve manufacturing efficiency, productivity, and quality. It aims to optimize production, minimize waste, and ultimately drive economic growth. Again, advanced manufacturing demands forward-thinking talent and uses innovative technologies and processes to improve efficiency, productivity, and quality. Pennsylvania fosters collaboration among industry, higher education, government, and nonprofits to promote good jobs and build a stronger, more inclusive economy. To ensure alignment with Pennsylvania's statewide economic development goals, this opportunity includes 10 points under the priority consideration scoring criteria, which will be discussed later, for initiatives in the advanced manufacturing sector with a robotics focus. Discussing a bit more about robotics, robotics is identified by the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development as one of 5 strategic sectors critical to long-term growth and competitiveness, with nearly 17,000 net new jobs projected over the next decade. Robotics enables precision, safety, and flexibility, helping manufacturers remain globally competitive. Apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs are essential to prepare a tech-ready workforce for roles ranging all the way from food production to automotive to even healthcare robotics. The continued advancement and adoption of robotics is essential to meeting future demands in speed, efficiency, and customization. Pennsylvania's investment in robotics education and infrastructure will ensure a pipeline of skilled workers ready to meet the challenges of tomorrow's industrial landscape. Moving on to the grant opportunity goals. Through this grant opportunity, the ATO's goal is to encourage pathways to enter into advanced manufacturing occupations, developing career pathways for advancement in advanced manufacturing occupations, encouraging support for the development of workplace accessibility as it relates to the physical and digital environment, further support individuals in advanced manufacturing occupations, and increase retention rates within these occupations, and expanding existing advanced manufacturing registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs by serving additional apprentices and pre-apprentices from traditionally underserved populations. Next up, we will discuss priority consideration. Priority consideration will be given to initiatives that focus on the following, which are specific to this grant opportunity. Firstly, proposals that demonstrate a commitment to serve and increase access for historically underrepresented and underserved students, workers, businesses, and communities. Applicants are encouraged to identify and address barriers to education and employment, which include workplace accessibility. There's also priority consideration for new, previously unfunded initiatives. Initiatives utilizing a group model for registered apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship programs serving multiple counties. The design, creation, adjustment, and upgrade of environments and services to support both physical and digital accessibility for apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship participants in the work environment. And as mentioned previously, initiatives in the advanced manufacturing sector with a focus on robotics. Again, this is identified by the Pennsylvania DCED as one of 5 strategic sectors critical to the state's long-term growth and competitiveness. And finally, applicants who demonstrate collaborations with labor unions to support apprentices or pre-apprentices. And to meet this priority consideration specifically, the labor union must either be the grant applicant or must provide a letter of support outlining specifics related to their involvement in the project. Moving on to eligibility. Eligible applicants include organizations that will serve as or are currently serving as a sponsor or intermediary of a new or existing registered apprenticeship/pre-apprenticeship program. If the applicant is not the program sponsor, the grantee must show significant evidence of the sponsor being an involved partner in the grant application. So, who can be a sponsor or intermediary? Some examples include businesses, community-based organizations, economic development organizations, industry associations, labor organizations, local education agencies, local workforce development boards, nonprofit organizations, post-secondary institutions, public libraries, and STEM ecosystems. Additionally, the applicant must demonstrate the ability to coordinate, manage, and implement the design of the project, develop and implement the project budget, implement a strategy to collect, analyze, and report performance outcomes, and coordinate and evaluate the activities of the project. They must also be capable of monitoring and administering the fiscal components of the project, be capable of submitting the required reporting elements at the required intervals as documented in the NGA, and have the capacity to work with an evaluator. Applicants are also required to have a Pennsylvania SAP vendor identification number. This may be obtained at no cost online or by calling the vendor data management unit. It may take up to 2 weeks to receive a vendor number, and if you were unable to obtain an SAP vendor number in a timely fashion, you may submit the application prior to receipt. However, no grant will be awarded without the documentation of a Pennsylvania vendor identification number. And just as a note, if you don't already have an SAP number and you intend to apply for the grant, you are encouraged now to apply for the number. And creating an SAP vendor ID number outside of being a requirement for this grant is extremely useful for any potential sponsor who plans on doing business with the Commonwealth in the future. So even if you don't end up applying for this opportunity or if your application is not selected, obtaining an SAP vendor number is still recommended. Applicants must also have a unique entity ID, which is a 12-character alphanumeric ID assigned to an entity by sam.gov. For assistance in obtaining a new unique entity ID or identifying an existing ID, refer to the links and resources section within the NGA. And also, applicants must comply with the workforce grant agreement. Applicants who cannot meet these additional requirements at the time of award will relinquish their award. Moving on to the fiscal agent. A fiscal agent is an organization that agrees to accept and be responsible for grant funds on behalf of the grantee. A fiscal agent is often a business or school that signs a legal contract with the Commonwealth of PA and is responsible for all fiscal accounting. Fiscal agent is not the same as the head accountant or supervisor of the business department. Instead, the fiscal agent handles invoicing, payments, state and federal tax reporting, etc. It's important to note that if called upon, the fiscal agent must provide documents for state or federal auditing. Additionally, the fiscal agent must take out employee dishonesty/theft insurance for at least $100,000. Some grantees will serve as their own fiscal agents if able, while other grantees may ask eligible organizations such as a local workforce development board to be their fiscal agent. And finally, if local workforce development boards apply as a region, that region must appoint a single local workforce development board as the lead applicant, who must also act as the fiscal agent. Moving on to required activities. These are outlined below and are intended to frame the types of services and/or activities permitted that would be necessary for successful program delivery. So firstly, projects supporting new apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period with the intent that a percentage remain active status and/or successfully complete the program and achieve journey worker status. Projects utilizing a group model that support multiple counties, employers, and apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period with the intent that a percentage maintain active status and/or successfully complete the program and attain journey worker status, and projects supporting pre-apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent to successfully enroll and matriculate a number of completers into affiliated registered apprenticeship programs during the grant period. Next, we move on to the performance metrics. So starting off with Opportunity 1, this is for those who intend to develop a new apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship program. And under Opportunity 1, you can develop an individual registered apprenticeship program that serves at least 5 apprentices during the grant period with the intent that 80% remain active and/or successfully complete the program and achieve journey worker status. The use of funding to offset on-the-job learning, or OGL, and/or related technical instruction, RTI costs, and provide wraparound support services in support of the new enrollments per project will equate to a minimum of $2,000 per apprentice. Develop a registered apprenticeship program utilizing a group model to support at least 3 employers and 15 apprentices with the intent that 80% remain active apprentices and/or successfully complete the program and achieve journey worker status. Next, for pre-apprenticeship programs, develop a registered pre-apprenticeship program that will serve at least 15 pre-apprentices. Additionally, this project must result in successful enrollment and matriculation of at least 5 pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated registered apprenticeship, and use of funding to offset paid work experience, RTI costs, support services, etc., directly in support of the new enrollments per project will equate to a minimum of $600 per pre-apprentice. Finally, under Opportunity 1, develop a registered pre-apprenticeship program to replicate across multiple 3 or more counties and serve at least 40 pre-apprentices. Additionally, this project must result in the successful enrollment and matriculation of at least 8 pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated registered apprenticeship. And just a quick note on Opportunity 1, programs developing new registered apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship programs will not be permitted to invoice for on-the-job training, OJT, related technical instruction, RTI, or support service expenses prior to the approval of the program. And all OJT/RTI and support service expenses will need to be incurred after program approval. Next, we move on to Opportunity 2, and this is for the expansion of already existing programs. So you can expand an individual registered apprenticeship program serving at least 5 apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent that 80% remain active and or successfully complete the program to achieve journey worker status during the grant period. Again, use of funding to offset OJL and or RTI costs, provide wraparound support services in support of the new enrollments per project will equate to a minimum of $2,000 per apprentice. Expand a registered apprenticeship program that utilizes a group model, serving at least 3 employers and 15 apprentices from traditionally underserved populations with the intent that 80% remain active and or successfully complete the program and achieve journey worker status during the grant period. Expand a registered pre-apprenticeship program serving at least 15 apprentices from traditionally underserved populations during the grant period. Additionally, this project, again, must result in the successful enrollment and matriculation of at least 5 pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated registered apprenticeship. And again, with pre-apprentices or with pre-apprenticeship programs, use of funding to offset paid work experience, RTI, support services, etc., will equate to a minimum of $600 per pre-apprentice. And then finally, expand an existing registered pre-apprenticeship to replicate across multiple 3 or more counties, serve at least 40 pre-apprentices. Additionally, this project must result in the successful enrollment and matriculation of at least 8 pre-apprenticeship completers into the affiliated apprenticeship. Next, we move on to the evaluation criteria. And prior to a comprehensive merit evaluation, L&I will perform an initial review to determine that the applicant is eligible. The information required as seen in the NGA has been received by the deadline. The proposal is aligned and responsive to the NGA, and all mandatory components have been received, which includes the application form, project summary cover, project narrative, letters of support, sustainability plan, timeline, goals and outcomes table, budget and budget justification, and worker protection certification form. Again, this is for the initial review criteria, and only those applications that pass the initial review will be scored in the merit review. Moving on to the merit review criteria, final awards will be based on a merit evaluation. Please refer to the NGA for specifics on the merit evaluation criteria. And here is a screenshot directly from the NGA. This shows all of the different categories that will be scored, as well as how many points one can earn from each section. And again, more details describing the actual specifics of each criteria are in the NGA. Moving on to application package submission instructions. So applicants must obtain and download the official NGA required documents from the L&I grants website. With regards to formatting and contents, it should be single-spaced, 8.5 by 11 page size, 1-inch margins, 11-point Calibri font. It should be in PDF form, with the exception of the timeline, goals and outcomes table, and the budget. Should include page numbers in the footer. Applications may not include hyperlinks and also may not include any proprietary or sensitive business information. Completed applications must include the following components. Firstly, the application form, and you can see that there's a naming criteria for all of these here. It should be your application, your applicant name underscore app form. A sample of the application form is available in Appendix A of the NGA. The project summary cover, a sample of this is available in Appendix B of the NGA. The project narrative, so this must include the narrative as seen in Appendix C of the NGA, timeline, which is Appendix D of the NGA, goals and outcomes table as seen in Appendix E, and sustainability plan as seen in Appendix F of the NGA. Moving on to the letters of support, each application must have 1 to 3 letters of support, at least one letter of support. Please see Appendix G of the NGA for a template. Now, let's take a closer look at some of the appendices. We'll start with Appendix B, where you will see the requirement to place the rapid sponsor ID number for applicants that will expand a currently registered apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship program. Next, you will see the 2 opportunities to select from and the outcome specific to each opportunity. And then on the right there, you will see the priority consideration categories are listed for applicants to select. Some of the priority considerations request a page number within the project narrative regarding the aspect of the considerations. And this is still within Project B. This is just a zoomed in priority consideration section. As you can see, there are boxes to check for each of those priority considerations, which I mentioned earlier. And as you can see, the second, third, and fourth consideration requires a specific page number where that consideration is detailed in your application. Next up, this is just a snapshot of the scoring that will be used for priority considerations. So you can see all of them listed here, as well as how many points each of them are worth. And again, this will be in the NGA as well. Next, we move on to Appendix C, which is the project narrative. This must include details regarding the need for program development. Refer to the evaluation criteria within the NGA for project narrative specifics. And then here I included a screenshot of the scoring regarding the actual project narrative here. So specifically, this is for project design and management and performance outcomes. Next, we will move on to the timeline. So an applicant's detailed timeline related to their project must include the following: a high-level summary of the project narrative and benchmarks specific to goals and outcomes achieved. It's also worth noting that for applicable initiatives, do not forget to indicate a registration date target, as awardees will have 1 year from contract start date to finalize their registration or show progress towards registration. And again, that should be noted within 1 year of the timeline when you submit your application. Next, we move on to Appendix E, and this is the goals and outcomes table. Appendix E offers opportunities 1 or 2, goals or outcomes to start your planning. Click the box in 1, 2, or 3, which are highlighted with arrows here, that align with the selection of your project need. Indicate performance metrics, evaluation methods, target numbers, etc. Please note that you should only fill out one table. So you should be filling out either Opportunity 1 for new initiatives or Opportunity 2 for expansion initiatives. Next, we move to Appendix F, which is the project sustainability plan. This is a high-level review of the information found in the project narrative. In the sustainability plan, it must note how the apprenticeship or pre-apprenticeship program will continue beyond the grant contract period of performance. Next, I have included a sample of Appendix G, and this is the letter of support template, which again can be found along with all these other required documents on the L&I grants page. Next, we continue with the application package submission instructions. And continuing off of the last 4, we have the grant financial reporting package, also known as the GFRP. Within the GFRP, the budget justification tab should be completed. And in the upcoming slides, fiscal operations will review additional details regarding the budget. A sample of the GFRP is available in Appendix H of the NGA. Expenditures by line item, requested and leveraged funds, and budget justification must be included and submitted as an Excel spreadsheet. And then finally, applications must include the EO 2021-06 Worker Protection Certification Form, and a sample of this is available in Appendix I of the NGA. I will quickly touch on the GFRP here before handing this off to fiscal. So this is a screenshot of the GFRP sample. And just as a reminder, a minimum of $2,000 per apprentice or $600 per pre-apprentice must be used to offset OJL and or RTI costs and provide wraparound support services. A minimum of $10,000, for example, should be allocated for projects intending to serve at least 5 apprentices, or $30,000 should be allocated to serve at least 15 apprentices during the grant period. And just as a quick note on requested award amounts, as you can see here, we have two screenshots. The first one is directly from the GFRP on the left, and the right is from Appendix A, which is the application form. Please make sure that the requested award amount aligns on both the GFRP and the Appendix A, or the application form. And after you complete your submitted budget, the difference, which is shown in the bottom arrow there, should be at $0. So now I would like to pass this over to Chris Ferret from Fiscal Operations, and thank you for joining me, Chris.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Ferret, and I am a fiscal tech with BWDA. I will review several critical items with respect to the budget portion of your grant application. Further details can be found on the Notice of Grant Agreement, NGA, or on the L&I website. First thing to note is that this is a reimbursable grant, meaning that we will reimburse you for expenses you incur upon submission of an invoice with the required supporting documentation. Invoices are typically submitted by the 5th of the month, 5th of the following month. Examples of supporting documentation are timesheets showing total hours worked and hours worked towards the grant objectives, payroll summaries, payroll registers, receipts for purchases and proof of payment. Payment is made by the Commonwealth through ACH deposits, typically within 10 business days of the date we approve the invoice. Given the size of this grant opportunity and expectation that the project will require a reasonably large number of staff, we are willing to consider a biweekly invoicing timeframe depending on the needs of the awardee. The budget form is included in Appendix H in the NGA. Please use the Excel version of this document on the L&I website to submit your budget summary along with the rest of your grant application. Budgets must be for the full period of performance, January 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2028. The budget will become the financial basis for any grant award. Administrative costs, which are defined in Appendix H, are limited to 10% of the total project budget. In addition, you will need to submit a budget justification as part of your application. This needs to justify each expenditure by line item. You need to itemize each of your expected expenditures, specifying the item, quantity, and frequency, and justifying how each of these items is necessary for implementing the project. The instructions for completing this document can be found in Appendix H in the NGA. Indirect costs, if included, must be supported by a current, approved, negotiated indirect negotiated indirect cost rate agreement signed by the federal cognizant agency or a de minimis justification and attached to the narrative. More detailed information on invoicing procedures and the required supporting documentation will be given to the awardees at the time of finalizing the grant award. Will, back to you.
Great. Okay, so thank you again, Chris. I'm going to now touch upon the application package submission instructions. So, incomplete application packages or ones that do not meet the identified specifications will not be reviewed or scored. Please note that the timeline, goals and outcomes table, sustainability plan, letters of support, budget form, budget justification, and the worker protection certification form do not count towards the total number of pages. Application packages must be submitted electronically to ATO grants at pa.gov by the application deadline. The subject line for your email submission must include your organization's name, NGA application, supporting Pennsylvania's advanced manufacturing sector. An email response will be sent upon the receipt of your application. This is confirmation that the application was received by the application deadline. If you do not receive an automatic email response, please contact the L&I Apprenticeship and Training Office at 717-787-6997 and be prepared to provide details about your submission, such as email proof of submission from your sent items folder, your contact information, and the name of the grant for which you're applying. Supporting PA's advanced manufacturing sector through apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships applications are due by August 29th at 4 p.m. EST. Late applications will not be accepted. Finally, moving on to grant award administration. Again, approximately $4 million is available, and grants will be awarded and funded competitively based on opportunities for the development and expansion of registered apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeships. L&I anticipates a performance period beginning on January 1st of 2026 and lasting until June 30th, 2028. This grant is 100% state funded. Additional information regarding award notices, grant agreements, reporting and evaluation, and allowable and disallowable costs and expenses can be found within the NGA. Grant expenses will be paid again on a reimbursement basis only. These expenses include actual costs that are accompanied by the supporting documentation with monthly invoices submitted through the PA Career Link site, also known as CWDS. Questions regarding the content of this NGA must be submitted via email, again, to atogrants@pa.gov. Please use the following email subject line: your organization's name, question, supporting Pennsylvania's advanced manufacturing sector. So thank you all for joining me for this presentation. We will now move into the questions and answers section of the presentation. And